our first session on Fill with Peace with Monica. I am Dr. Dasaratha Rama. And Fill with Peace, the first ebook was just published by Ramana Sunitya Aalayaa. There has been actually a major development on their front. If you've seen the ebook, you've seen Chetas, CHETAS. So TAHD, which is Theatre Arts for Holistic Development, has evolved to consciousness through holistic education via theatre arts sadhana. Now, I hope I have the via and these correct, but that's the basic thing. And for me, the biggest word there that grabbed my attention is sadhana, which is basically disciplined practice, right? And that is where I have always been engaged. So I was very excited to see Chetas, and I'm very happy that our first ebook came under the Chetas banner because yeah, that's kind of the role I've carved out for myself in the RAISE family immersion also. So Ramana Art-form Interventions, self-awareness for self-awareness and excellence. And in the family immersion program, Ujjwal Jagdish, she does the classes. But what I have tried to do is support parents in the practice and implementation. And what I've really found over the years is only the parents who invest in the practice really get the value of the experience. And they are the ones who tend to stick with it. So Gitanjali has been there for a while. We've been there for a while. And anybody who's there, I think, is more committed to practice. Otherwise, nobody can wave a magic wand. So unless the parent practices, nothing much happens. So I'm very happy I'm, doing the first conversation with you because you're one of the people who is very committed to practice. And I'm also very happy because you're very proactive about practice. Many times you'll say, no, we don't want to see all the 200 videos. Just give me a shorter list. Or you'll say, can we have the words for the song? So you've really helped us, develop that more as a system. Before we just had the videos that Ujjwal and Ananth would record, and that's what we were having. And I think working with parents like you has helped us streamline that whole process.
Yeah, it's very important, ma'am. Correct,
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
And so I'm very happy, I'm very happy that the first conversation is with you because you've been a proactive, player in that. And that's where I'm seeing the second ebook going. In the first ebook, we introduced the whole fill
In fact, ma'am, the
process.
first ebook is something which is very simple and relatable.
Yes.
And you can read it 2-3 times. Each time you read it, you will relate it to your own life experiences and you will
Yes.
find meaning to it.
Yes.
Like it's
I'm
been
going to just share the screen. So at least the main, the model can be seen.
Also, ma'am, we were talking about the silence, ma'am, right?
I started with step 1 being structured theatre arts activities. So this is the example of the RAISE class. This itself is very important because I want to distinguish between structured theatre activities such as the RAISE family immersion versus what we do with children. So, even when my sons were younger, Anish and Ananth, we would do, every parent will do storytelling, they will do music, they will do dance. So these are very, commonly used tools that we all use without thinking. It is not very mindful. We just use them. We'll put on the wheels on the bus or all kinds of songs like that. And we will do. What I have realized is that is fine. That was fine with Anish. But when you need to address developmental goals, so Ananth is actually needing a much more structured program that addresses specific goals. So, so there's a range of holistic development goals, like you have the movement and body awareness, and it's very subtle. So when you take, I still remember vividly, we have all these hastas or hand gestures that we do, and there is one called Kartari Mukha. So in that Kartari Mukha, there is one place where Ananth was telling a story of the robbers in Ramana Tata's ashram, and he had to do like this. So while he got the Kartari Mukha, this was not easy for him because there's a lot of body awareness. Exactly where it comes, he'll go like this or he'll go like this. So just to get that at the correct place is not easy, especially when you have motor challenges. So I think because, RAISE is based on Natya or Indian theatre arts, And Ujjwal and others, they're very trained in Bharatanatyam, which is very, very, very precise in terms of body movements. You have all the bedas, which are like the pada beda, the movements of the feet. You have all the hand gestures or hastas. So you have very specific movements, and I think it's taught in a very precise way. So there is a difference between that kind of a structured approach and just doing some songs. There's a difference between general things and a very specific curriculum. And the RAISE also has an activity bank, which is also very important, because even if all these concepts are there and the principles are there, the activity bank means they're very specific. As Ujjwal was mentioning, there are more than 2,000 songs in Ramananjali. So they always have a songs and theater activities like the animal song, those kind of songs. They've got so many things that have been developed for children, and they address specific developmental goals. So that is why I've been very supportive of RAISE, because when Ananth was young, we used the Enki curriculum, and having a curriculum helps. We cannot be making up these activities every day. If you're just doing general, like we just are doing If You're Happy and You Know It and Wheels on the Bus and things like that, it's different. But when you want to address specific goals, then it really helps to have the activity bank. Once you have that structured activity bank, you have the Chetas, the framework, the method and all of that, and you have a coach who's bringing you the right activities at the right time. So all that is lined up, but then we have to do the job. We have to practice to get the benefit. So as far as I'm concerned, the step 2 and 3 are very important for parents. So step 2 was assign roles based on point of learning. So the family immersion class is group. Of course, so we've been fortunate because Anand's class is individual, but the group class, the family immersion class is group. So when you do, it is done in a certain way where the child participates with the parent, and in the class, different children participate to different extent. But then when you go home and you practice with your child, you can really tailor that experience to your child. My child doesn't like to sing, or my child likes to sing but doesn't like to move much. So whatever the child's interests are, whatever their capacity is, that's their point of learning. So if, for example, the animal song is done in the group, that same thing is going to be implemented differently by different parents. It will also be implemented differently in terms of which activity you do. So some children may like the songs. I've seen that Daksh gravitates towards the stories. Ananth loves the stories too. Some other children may be more connected to the music and, the children's song, but they may not care much for the stories. So even which activity you pick up, I think depends on the child. And then we give roles. So for example, I'll sing and both of us will dance, or both of us sing and both of us dance. So whatever it is that works for your child in that context. And I was having a conversation with one parent suggesting not to put it on the video, but for the parent to sing, because sometimes with the videos there, it becomes a distraction. So I was suggesting that maybe you just sing and practice. And then comes the practice. So the consistent practice, the daily practice. So take one thing and practice for a while.
Very important, ma'am. Practice
important.
is very important.
Very important. So this is why I was sharing that the fun with Hastas that Ananth is doing for RASA web channel. So if you think about it, there are 52 hand gestures or Hastas. And in Abhinaya Darpana, there is a sloka for each of those 52. And the sloka tells you viniyogas or uses of each hasta. So if you take Ardha Pataka, which we have done, Ardha Pataka can be used to show horns of the cow. It can be used to show the saw and also the Goshala. We used it like that. So every hasta has many viniyogas, right? So now Ananth practices for all these 52 hastas, because that's what will happen. So it's a wonderful project because he's doing one video for each of these hastas, and each hasta has many uses. There is a sloka that describes the uses of each hasta. So right now, yesterday I shared the latest one that he did, Chatura Hasta. So he has to learn the hasta. he has to learn its different uses. So Chaturahasta can be used to show smelling something, eating something, and with the expression too, oh, you're enjoying eating something. It's used to show gold and silver. So there are many, many uses of each hasta. And for each hasta, he has to learn, first of all, what the uses are. Then, as he's reciting the sloka, so he has to show the gesture. So when he's saying smell, he's saying the word in the sloka and showing smell. When he's saying rasa swade, then he is showing this. So you have to memorize all these slokas, and you have to memorize the meanings, and you have to know, how to show it. Then he does a song, which Ramana Maharishi Center for Learning, they have created a set of songs. And those now are tied to Ramana also. So those songs, he practices the hand gesture with that song. Now the song will not include all the uses in the sloka, some of the uses it will use. Then he tells a story. So in this Chaturahasta, he told two stories, one about one Ramana story and one Krishna and Sudama. He told those two stories. And then sometimes he even shows a little dance. So think about the amount of practice for each video. In addition, he has the intro section and the ending section. So the Fun with Hasta has been a fantastic experience for practice. And even if you're not, doing like a video series, I think taking one activity like the body part song or animal song and going to completion. I think Ananth has benefited a great deal because of this Fun with Hastas project. We've seen a lot of progress because he has to finish and submit it for publishing on the web channel. So it means that practice has to go to a level where the performance looks good. So I think going on the video has been very helpful for him because, then you have to push yourself a little bit so it looks good. And all these little things, like at the end, he has to say, please, share, subscribe, all those kind of things. So now it's funny, we're making some other video and he's automatically telling some of that kind of, some of that kind of language is just coming to him more automatically now. So it's very interesting, learning even the presentation, the intro, the ending, then each of these pieces. And then I've been doing all the video editing, but over time, hopefully he can learn some of that. So key point is, I think we want the practice to be very disciplined and make it into a smart project. That is, instead of doing a bit of this and bit of that, and that's where I see you going. You always want to take one or two things and really work with it. And you see the progress, and then Ananth first did the practices first. And I remember you asking this question in an earlier meeting when we did when he did the white peacock story. You asked me how long it took him. And at that time, to learn and it was a hasta, right? It was a Mayura hasta. And he had to learn, he hadn't done the sloka. He had just done the song and the story. And it took him a good month to learn it. Because at that time, it was a new thing. And this was 2022. But now, he can actually do it very quickly. He can learn a story in a day or two. So that takes, there are a lot of gains like that. The memory improves over time, the ability to, learn it all improves over time. So it's a capacity. So I think if you do it regularly, that capacity builds.
We can also do some hasta, no, ma'am, in the race class.
Yes, actually, I have suggested that too.
Yeah.
See, I feel like
It will
Ananth
be
has
good.
got such a lot from the class because he came in the opposite direction. See, he came in as a Bharatanatyam student into race. So his journey is a little different. He came into as a Bharatanatyam student, which means he already knew some bedas, he already knew some hastas, he already knew some adavus. He knew all these building blocks. I've been telling Ujjwal that the reason Ananth has gained so much is because he has those building blocks. So, for example, for NTs who don't have any motor challenges, they can just do the animal song, do all these movements, and they just probably get it. But for our children, I feel like you have to teach the movements a little bit more. So for example, if you do the Brahmara Hasta, which is coming next for Anand, the Brahmara Hasta, if you actually teach them how to make it, I think our children do better. I feel like, so this is what I was telling Ujjwal, that as we start the new session now, I was suggesting to him that maybe we can do, for the year, maybe do 4-5 hastas, do 2-3 adavus, do 2-3 bedas. For example, The Pada Beda is very useful. So is Drishti Beda, the movement of the eyes. Our children have a lot of eye tracking problem.
Acha.
So, and then
Oh,
there is
wonderful.
Shiro Beda.
So,
So I
ma'am,
said,
what will happen, ma'am, in this? I think we need to go a little bit more structured in this. So, ma'am,
yes,
what is happening is, ma'am, say suppose we so we parents will have to take it up, ma'am. In the
yes,
class, there are children and Ananth Anna is teaching. That will not happen. So, if we choose a hasta, ma'am, how you send a video and all, we should have that. That
yes,
this is a hasta and these are the uses. So,
yes.
next 2 months we are going to do about say Brahma hasta, whatever.
One
So we
hasta,
should take
yes,
it, ma'am.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. So, ma'am, like for instance, for Daksh, we do the peacock story and the cow story
yes,
almost 4 to 5 days in a week. We make him
yes,
read, or he
yes,
reads it. One day he wanted to type it, so he saw it and he typed it. He and Chatur, they will do. So those things are there, ma'am. So my thing is also, I think we should put it in a drive. I keep on losing my things, ma'am.
yes.
So Arunachala, yeah,
Yeah,
I keep on
I'll
losing.
find
So
them again for you.
Arunachala song and Dakina Murti, ma'am. That
Yeah,
video I need of Ananth also, ma'am.
okay,
Both Dakshinamurti and Arunachala, ma'am,
okay.
those two. And one
So,
important thing is, ma'am, about fill with silences. So
mm,
fill your cup is like when you said, so ma'am, as parents of children who are neurodiverse, what happens is we think we have been trained, you talk all day and you make
yes,
the child talk all day.
yes,
The more the child talks, the better it is. So,
yes,
ma'am, even before I was also thinking, oh, he's asking me so many questions, it's good.
yes,
Then I realized, ma'am, after you told me the last class, in fact, that Anand talks a lot and then he's talking, 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 that is creating him anxiety. Then I understood that this is what happens with Daksh also. He'll start
yes,
asking questions.
yes,
And he's asking, initially I would answer, and I would get
yes,
drained. So
yes,
so I realized that it's actually work. So suppose somebody who has
yes,
limited vocabulary, that child is asking so much, and we are thinking it is good.
yes, yes,
Absolutely opposite, ma'am. So from yesterday, I've been telling him at home you should maintain
right,
silence.
yes,
And ma'am, it is helping so much. At
yes.
home, what do? We maintain silence. It is completely opposite to what we have been trained, ma'am. We have
You
been
know why?
told
You
talk, 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 talk. And ma'am, I see that he's relaxed. In fact, a friend came Smarar yesterday. He's like, Auntie, आज दक्ष को क्या हुआ? ये आज silent है ना? ये आज अच्छे से दक्ष तुम ठीक हो, like, दक्ष तुम आज good boy हो, like, he's like, तुम good boy हो, तुम silent हो. Like somebody could observe it, ma'am, who just came to
you,
me.
you don't know the
And
biggest,
here is a child who has very
Monica,
limited vocabulary. Huh.
the biggest thing Ujjwal has brought into our life is silence. I'm very glad because, see,
Huh.
because he's in Ramana Maharshi Center for Learning, I
Huh.
think silence is more explicitly a part of his curriculum. That's the way he is.
So, ma'am,
Right.
yesterday what Ujjwal Anna did, no, it was very interesting, ma'am. So, no, Daksh has a habit of talking, no, suddenly. So, in class also, he will start talking. Ujjwal Anna, I want to show you something. Ujjwal Anna, I want to talk. Suddenly, Ujjwal Anna is telling something. One time, he will allow him. So, yesterday, I think he didn't want to allow and break his flow. So Daksh kept on saying, Ujjal Anna, I want to tell him something. But Ujjal Anna just ignored him. He didn't tell Daksh, wait. So in between, I was like, is Daksh's audio not hearing? Maybe Ujjal Anna is not hearing the audio. But actually, he was hearing his audio, ma'am. But he was not responding to it. It takes a lot, ma'am, like to do it. But Daksh kept on saying, Ujjal Anna, Ujjal Anna. And Ujjal Anna did not react. I'm like, how come he's not reacting? Then I realized when the class got when the say what he was wanting to say, Ujjal Anna, he finished that song. Then he said, "Ha Daksh." Then I understood we could hear, but I was so tempted to go and check the audio. That is it audio problem or something. I like let it be, let it be. So so that is how we parents need to calm down. That is what I
Yes,
learned. Like
yes, yes, yes. See, I think the calm, regulated presence for the parent is very
Mm.
important because I've seen that with Ujjwal.
Silence, ma'am. Parent silence is more important than the child silence,
Yes,
ma'am. That is
yes,
what I learned from Ujjal Anna yesterday.
yes. He's,
He was
he's,
like,
he's,
he's just
even
silent.
when he's doing the activity, he has a very silent presence. He doesn't have, all this very, very
Huh.
calm presence. And so that really, and that's actually, it was only after we started working with Ujjwal, I said, so that's the kind of teacher Ananth needs. That's when I understood. Because a lot of times in RD and all, they're so full of energy and all of this. But that's not what Ananth is needing. He's needing a more calm energy, is what I figured out. So, a great point. I think these were some great points here. And and there is
Ma'am, this is not a great
that's why I
point,
encourage
ma'am.
people
No,
to
no,
come
ma'am.
to.
No, ma'am. Ma'am, you can hear me. It's not a great point. It is a paradigm shift, ma'am.
Yes. No, so I
Ma'am,
mean, like,
it is, don't say it is just a small thing. It is
no, no.
a shift
See,
in the mindset,
see,
ma'am.
when I came to the year we came to RMCL in 2022,
Mm.
2023 summer camp had the theme From Silence Blossoms Speech. And it just caught my attention. And the other senior parents, Bharati told me the same thing. She said, nobody ever tells us to be silent because, oh, ND child, let's talk more. Let's make them talk.
Let's talk.
So we are actually getting
Yeah.
more, even though, see, my basic personality is very silent. Okay. Then I
Mhm.
taught for so many years in the US, and when you become a professor, you change, right? You're becoming, your job is talking. To me, as you said, that from silence blossoms speech, that has been a paradigm shift and very necessary, because when we went to, Tirunamalai, and we were sitting in that hall, and I've said this example many times. And when that Ananth heard, we were in this small meditation hall. It's very dark. Everybody's sitting just very quietly. And he heard the Tamil Parayana. It was a beautiful experience because you can hear the Tamil Parayana chanting from different places in the ashram. I think one of the most beautiful experiences listening to from the small hall where everybody's meditating. It's a small hall, it's dimly lit, very relaxing. He comes out, the first thing he tells me is, Amma, this stops the thoughts in my head. And I'm like, just because they don't talk too much, we think they don't have thoughts. I realize that he's
Acha.
troubled by thoughts. He has so
Acha,
many
okay.
thoughts. And they're making a very big assumption that just because the children don't talk, they don't think. That's not correct. They're actually, I think, probably struggling with a lot of thoughts. And when you work on silence, and with Ramana and all, the silence is the inner silence, right? That is, it is stilling your mind. And if you still your mind, then whatever speech comes, it's more appropriate, and it's more grounded, and it's more effective. So to me, that's the paradigm shift. So that's what I live by. We work a lot on silence and soft speech. That's the other one. I realize that Ananth really, somehow with Ujjwal, there is no auditory processing problem. From day one, he understands everything Ujjwal says. And I'm like, does he really have an auditory processing problem, or is it that people have been talking, too much and too fast at him? Because when Ujjwal is doing it's all theater.
Ah, ha, ha.
So, there's
Correct,
the
correct.
speech is very limited. Like there's a lot of movement, there's silence, and there's some speech. He's always processed the story in Ujjal's class, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Does he really have auditory processing problem or no? You know? So that's why he's made a lot huge breakthroughs in reading. I mean, he's reading the Ramayana at
Ah.
a fantastic level. He's like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
have,
ma'am, you said that. I was so
yeah.
impressed.
I mean, like, see,
How did he break through reading?
I
Because what?
actually don't know how he broke through, because Ujjwal has only been doing a lot of, the Ramana stories. But I think, see, the Ramana stories gave him a structure, because they only have few characters. Like there is Ramana, animal, some devotees. Very simple structure. Values very clear, right? For example,
Mm.
Nondi monkey threw his food. Okay, don't waste
Correct,
food.
correct, correct.
So the value is crystal clear. It somehow gave him a way to make sense of stories. Before, I think our kids struggle with detail processing. They've got too much details. They don't grasp the thing. So what happened is, then when I went to Ramayana, all of a sudden, I'm talking about Bharat, and he's saying Bharat was not like Duryodhana. He wasn't wanting what was Ram's. And I'm like, how did that happen? Because I think now he's realized that he doesn't have to pay attention to word by word and get completely lost. He's getting the gist of it, that here's a character Bharat and this is how he is. And I'm like, wow, uh, because of that structured teaching,
Yeah.
he has suddenly made a leap which I don't even know where it came from.
Uh. Okay, you're saying because he used to do the Peacock story, Robert story, and all these stories, doing these stories again and again, he started in his mind understanding the structure,
Yes,
right?
I think he started understanding some important things, that stories are about characters, different characters have different
Right.
values, they act in certain. I think what he developed through Ujjwal stories was a template for understanding stories, I feel. And then suddenly, I mean, I have actually no idea how. I don't use any visuals. I just read this Rajaji Ramayana, no visuals, nothing. He's comprehending. And he'll also tell me, because of theater, he'll say, Amma, read with expression. He's telling me now to read with expression.
Oh.
Yeah. Because he's understanding, he's suddenly grasping each character, their mindset, so he doesn't, he's like, you're not reading with expression today. So he's suddenly figuring out, that emotional content of it too. So I'm like, that's, huge, like 3 hours of very simple Ramana stories. That's all we've been doing. We've not been reading anything else. But we've really been practicing those Ramana stories. That we've been doing. And it's like, I don't know, I have no idea where that leap happened. So that's what I feel. I feel like if you're very disciplined in the practice, we don't actually know what leap might happen and where. We don't know. That's what I feel. I mean, we really don't know. I think, because I think our children have some pain points, like maybe he's tuning out auditory information, he's doing this, but his comprehension cannot. If you think about little children, they're learning auditorily first, right? And we try, because he's having auditory processing, we try to circumvent that and we try to do visuals and so on. But eventually, I can't read a big story if he can't process auditorily. It's very problematic. So when he made a breakthrough, I think the biggest breakthrough he made with Ujjwal is auditory processing. Once he made that, and then we kept working on the stories, suddenly it all connected somehow. So now we just sit, we happily enjoy the Ramayana. I'm just reading to him, and he wants to, and I remember how much I used to struggle trying to help him read with expression, how to chunk it. Could never teach him.
Meaning?
Because when we read, you see, if you can sort of, the sentence, the sort of like chunks.
Yeah. Verbs ko, ma'am, you do. Yeah. Verbs ko, you put the
Yeah,
verbs
and
together
it was very difficult to teach, but now intuitively he's just got it. He knows how to read. He's reading with expression now. So I think, see, this is the thing that theater does, because the theater works on voice, works on body language, works on all of these things. So in RTI, they might tell you that you should do experience sharing, use less words and so on. It's good for the guide. But how do you teach the child? They're having a problem. They're having problem with body language. They're having problem with intonation. Theater is working on all of that. So one of the, the head of pediatrics in Dr. Kamakshi Memorial Hospital, just after 1 or 2 months, he started with Usha Shankaran, another senior person in RASA. Just in a month or two, she said, wow, his voice, his prosody has totally changed. So, and these things become, I realize that those things become very important for something like reading. Because once you get the prosody, I think even when you're reading, you're hearing the story differently. And you're comprehending it. So we don't realize how important all these things are for that. And one other thing along with soft speech is smile. So I've been telling Ujjwal for a while, and I'll again.
But they don't smile, no, ma'am. These children don't smile often, right?
Ananth has started
These children
smiling a
don't
lot
smile.
now.
But ma'am, I did not. But ma'am, is it a problem that they don't smile a lot?
I think it is. I feel it is.
Oh.
So what happened is, Ananth smiles a lot now. Even when he's stressed, he alternates between silence and, smile and not smiling. I mean, when he's stressed, he won't smile, but it's much more spontaneous. He smiles quite a bit. That came with Ujjwal. The first adavu, they have smile in it. I've been telling Ujjwal.
Ma'am, adavu, ma'am, beda leg. Hasta is a hand. What is adavu?
Adavu is the movement patterns. So you do tat adavu, means it's just, there's a particular pattern in which you do the feet. And that is a big building block of Bharatanatyam. They just teach you, our children don't have to even learn the whole Bharatanatyam, but if they learn some basic, the rhythmic patterns. Okay. So I'm telling him, just teach 3 adavus. That's all for the year. But one Nat adavu is actually Ujjwal has done a very nice job of pairing concepts and stories with each adavu. So Tat adavu has a smile. Then Metadavu also has a story, and Natadavu, he has paired silence theme with it. That'll be beautiful. It'll tie in with what we are doing. So I've been telling him, Ujjwal, please do these adavus, hastas, and bedas. I think for our ND children, this will be very helpful. So now that I'm talking to you, I'm thinking I'll take that message to him again. I've been telling him this for a while because I feel like that's why Ananth gained so much. Because for our children, we need that structured thing, the structured building blocks, I feel. Because for them, it gives them that in very precise way. So I don't think just doing the race activities alone would have helped Ananth. I think it's the combination of the Bharatanatyam building blocks with race that's giving him the breakthroughs.
Yeah.
So let me have a conversation with Ujjwal again on this. Because I feel like we should really see this, for 1 year. And you were
Expression,
saying,
ma'am. We should work on expressions. Yeah. We should work on
yeah,
expressions also, ma'am.
exactly. You know why else smile is helpful? Smile will immediately relax your face. It will relax your body. So I think even the parents remembering to smile more, I think it'll help because, we ourselves have to practice a smile. That is our first practice that we recommend is the smile because it gives a more relaxed presence. So, and our children imagine what a problem it is if they don't smile at all. So then, Manju had pointed this out. She said, I've seen Ananth smiles a lot more now. But you can't do social smile by saying, okay, Ananth, when you see somebody, greet them with a smile. That becomes very artificial. It's not coming from his heart, right?
Yeah.
When you work through Bharatanatyam, it has become more spontaneous for him. It comes from him. That's what we want. So that's why I've been telling Ujjwal for a while, please do the first adavu because you've paired the smile there. It's very important. So I think I'll push him again. At the next class, please do this. Because I thought that really helped Ananth because everybody says, he's after starting with Ujjwal, he's far more expressive in dance, Ananth.
Got it, man. Got it. Makes sense.
So that's that. And then all of this works only if you have the calming activities because even if the class is fantastic, if the rest of the day he's had a lot of stress, the class is not working, nor is practice. So, overall good flow during the day is very important for the theater lesson to really work or the practice to work. So this for Ananth is a huge thing. We are constantly working on that rhythm. And so we have a basic set of calming activities, and that calming activity could be something like a walk or a chore or anything. But also these structured theater activities that you do find their way into the daily rhythms. I think that's when they really work. Now Ananth is wanting really
I didn't
calm.
understand, ma'am.
So daily Ananth will say, Amma, let's sing the Padigam. Because that's his favorite now, because it's very slow and he's wanting something very, very slow and gentle. He doesn't want to practice his dance. He'll keep telling me, Amma, let's do the Padigam. It was written by Ramana and he did it in one of the classes to show you how slow it is with the movements. And that's what Ananth is wanting. Every day he makes me do the Padigam with it because he's wanting that really slow speed. And because with it may be something to look for Daksh, because Daksh is also with the seizure and all that. Maybe he will also like what Ananth is liking. Daily Ananth will make me sing it with him because it's so slow. I'll share that also with you. Take a look and try. And every day we sing it. And we don't realize it's high, it's Ramana's thing to Arunachala. We don't know what to click for them. He loves that. He wants to do it every day. So then you get healthy rhythms. So this is a key point. I think the peace doesn't come from one activity. Peace comes from a more healthy flow throughout the day. In that healthy flow, we get theater and all these things. So those are the 7 steps that we have, mapped out in the book.
Got it, ma'am.
So there is a lot to it. The process, you can start with it in a very simple way, but there is a lot of depth to it, which we have already started unpacking some of it, like the silence, the Bharatanatyam. There's so much there. It's all in the same flow, but there is so much depth in that. And I think only as parents get into it. So this can work for even somebody who's just doing the body parts song. They can still follow this, okay, I'm going to do the body
Ma'am,
parts
I think
song.
this will, ma'am, 15 seconds it will log off, ma'am. So I think we can close it.
Okay.
Yeah, because there'll be a closer. Otherwise, abruptly it will break.
Okay. So I think the 7 steps
Okay,
can be
thank you,
used
ma'am.
in a simple way also.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
thank you. So let me know if
Thank
you have
you,
any
ma'am.
thoughts. Bye.